Zappa professional stage, and welcome back to Super Robot Wars Alpha. Whew. That was weird. I decided to start, and then lunch was like, nope, time to burp. Oh shit, Kaiser. We are now playing a stage exclusively for the Super Route. Kenzo is telling Aya that although the R3 is finished, she probably can't withstand combat with the SRX at her current level of telekinesis. Nevertheless, he has to send her. Aya, his daughter, agrees to go and says that by piloting the R3 she hopes to ascertain her reason for living, and so the deaths of her sister Maya and her mother will not be in vain. Meanwhile, Kusuha and the SRX team were discussing the Angel. You hear that it's almost like their powers are evolving. Ryusei wishes he could have gone out, but Ryan tells him that the result would have been the same. In any case, the R1 is being modified just like the R2. As is the Grumgust Type 2 with something called the Keito Shungoken. Am I getting a new attack? That'd be cool. In any case, Ryusei asks Rai if he's seen Aya, who supposedly came here with Banjo. He hasn't. Hold on. There we go. Solve that. It seems that she's actually the leader of the SRX team and the pilot of the R3. Just then, Professor Kenzo Kobayashi shows up and hails the squad. He apologizes for the abruptness that he's to have Rai try powering with the new R2 power. He asks that Kusa and Ryusei come with the DCHQ for readjustments on the T-Late system. Ryusei can't imagine the bleak atmosphere surrounding this guy to be from the same bloodline as Aya. During the test, Kobayashi is impressed at how strong your two squad's abilities have become. The two people's abilities have become. He compliments Ingram on the dangerous but ultimately successful tact of hardening those abilities with actual combat experience. Ingram says that, after all, he broke a bone getting Ari into that machine. Ari? Oh, there must be someone else. He says that Ari and Ryusei are proof that the Psycho Drivers are about to be born. All you have to do is wait for them to reach full movement. Kenzo says that at this rate, it won't be just a dream to activate the Uranus system under their own willpower. He says that their research has its final stage, and when the day comes, humans will overcome the limitations as close at hand. Ingram suggests hastening its arrival. According to theory, the pilot's own powers heighten the more threatening the situation, so that all they have to do is create such a situation, just like when you first piloted the Grumgust. After the test, Ryusei and Kusuhara unwinding when we find Masaki! Potentially lost again. Masaki had been wondering if Shu was around, but he's nowhere to be seen. Ryusei marks that for a while Shu has been missing. Masaki thinks that during that time he was in Lagaius. You try asking Masaki what his relation to Shu is, but he tells you it's none of your business! Although he apologizes for his bluntness. He says that he can finally get control over his feelings, he'll tell you. All he does tell you now is not to trust Shu. Or Ingram. He says that people like them always have a hidden agenda, a fact that Shu has made him realize. He admits to not knowing much about Ingram, but his instincts say that he's dangerous. Ryusei's pretty sure he's wrong, and Masaki says that he's also wrong. Ingram gets a transmission from Kirk Hamidu. Kirk Hamill? Hamidu? It says Hamidu in the guide. Apparently, something bad is up in the Far East base. Someone stole the two new H-Series machines, Red and Second. Ingram was already suspected the culprit, a former subordinate official from the PTX days. It's not known why he did it. In any event, They've been branded as traitors and might show up in South Italia. Ingram laments that things don't always go according to Keikaku, but thinks that he can actually exploit this. How to do so? It's a sends SRX squad on patrol, ostensibly to guard against various organizations who are after the EOT. Ingram tends to think of it as a test of their new machines, and they have discretionary permission to fire upon any enemies they encounter. Wright thinks that Ingram's phrasing makes it sound like that he expects enemies to appear. Ryusei asks Wright how his machine is doing it, and although the tronium engine is still unstable, the firepower is far greater. Ryusei's got a psychic field just like the Grumgrust Type 2, plus a new T-Link sword! Wright thinks, like Ai's R3, the R1 has now been made into a full psychic class machine. Ryusei thinks the sword feels like something a super robot would have and decides to call it the... Am I ahead of myself? I guess I was behind, actually. Kokori Neijiro, Mirai Yaiba! Stage 29, a blade hardened, unseen within the heart. Or, I'm ahead of myself. Because Ryusei would be asking how the machine's doing. Okay, that makes sense. Ask about the R2. Good old R2 powered. Upgrade. Is it mentioned with the R1? The wiki doesn't include that the R1 may or may not have a new attack. So, one step at a time, though. One step at a time. Asking about it, super robots. I guess that was it. He says he's got a new sword, and he wants to call it the Tenjo Tenge Nendo Hasaiken, Heaven and Earth Psychic Crusher Sword. Ryusei asks Kusuha about the new weapons, but she says she feels something approaching. She's not sure if it's friend or foe, but the T-Link response is unmistakable. You seem to recall this feeling from before, and Rai finally confirms. The Huckmines. In particular, the Huckmine Mark II and the Huckmine EX. Rai's left hand is in pain. I lost track of where I was. And you realize they've got T-Link systems as well. Comments that SRX seems blended on his first sight. And even Bullet says that they're connected with Ingram and they can't just be any personal troopers. However, it's too late now that the Huckmine went berserk during the experiment, and they can't let Ingram manipulate the SRX project for his own ends any further. asks Bullet if he's really sure about this, that once they attack, there's no going back. Oh, he's sure. is sorry about making him go along with this, but if he had let you participate in the SRX project back then, his nerves would have been fried by the excessive stimulation. That man thought of him as nothing but a sample. He says that also don't mess with the gun crust, and then he'll take care of it himself. He really just wants to avoid contact between the two chosen characters. Alright, so let's take a look. You definitely have Tenjo Tenge Nindo Hasaiken, so that's an added move. Grungust also gained a move. So I'm going to take a second to denote this as well as the victory condition. 1 second. And so we return. After many follies, many errors, and much learning, we will learn one day the correct order of operations. So according to my research, you get 1 love point for having Kusuha and Bullet fight. You get a 2nd love point for having Kusuha convince Bullet, which occurs after either fighting twice or fighting twice and the other boys having a talk. You get 1 rifle point for and Kusuha fighting. This man over here, this spot. in the Huckbind X. You get a different point for having and Kusaha fight after the first time Kusaha and Bullet fight, but that immediately ends the match. We don't want that. So, make sure to save before anything goes wrong this time. Because we need to do this right. For the camera. For the people. I have to scroll back to this part again. On round 2, Rai confirms weapons lock. They're hostile. Kusaha gets a feeling that she knows the pilot of the blue machine, but can't figure out why Bullet, who'd been missing, would be here, in the Huckbind. So, oh, that's a different move. What? So, move the first. First move. Is to slide Kusaha over here. And do this bonk. We will observe the animation. There's some protesting. And we get the first rival point. We don't get the rival point that ends the map. You only get one rival point on this stage, because I tried attacking him a second time with Kusaha in my first attempt, and no dialogue. We also lose many skill points for shooting down either of them, so we have to kind of like do the little plink, the little tap tap, little tap. But basically, everybody has to engage everybody once, culminating in the stage ending as Kusaha convinces Ryusei. Well, you're going to attack them anyway, so why don't I go and save first before something stupid happens. Unfortunately, the author of our guide here did not fully write out all the things. Oh, fuck! Sir! Sir! Oh, right! Duh! The freaking G gun is my strongest attack. Or G revolver is. I put a lot of money into that. I think we'll be fine. We'll manage. Okay, this counts enough, so we don't even need to. Arn tells Rai when they fight that his objective is the destruction of all SRX machines. That's Ryusei being attacked again. Ow! Rude! Do a dodge, land, or I guess land. This. Engage conversation. Oh, you have excellent, good. But that's close enough to get you over here. To do little baby steps. More dialogue. Okay, good. Ow. It's fine. This is fine. Let's transform back. Okay. And this is their first talk. I think I'll take this up. The first time, Bullet professes to never met Kusaha before. But I know you. Your name is Bullet Luckfield. How do you know my name? I'm Kusaha. No! I don't know you! R2 being attacked again. Block. Sword cut! Nice. R1 being attacked again. Defend dodge. That's fine. Alright. What do we got here? So let's... Evasion. Evasion. That's evasion. That's what I want. Little babby hit. The second time, he reiterates that he doesn't know her. But all she can think about is how they need to avoid actually fighting. Good, excellent, done. And then on the next turn we should convince, and that should be that. Everyone's fought everyone, everyone's talked to everyone. I'm still going after the R2, so I'm going to defend. Good. Still going after the R1, so dodge. And there's our convince. Convince him after I probably attacking with your Saiyan Rai. You tell him that you've got no reason to fight, but he says he has a reason to fight Kusuha. She asks him to tell him that reason, and if that is something that she can do, she will do it. He's left surprised, and he gets a very peculiar sensation, like something's been thrust into his heart, and completely loses control of his machine. He buggers off, and Ern bitches that he shouldn't have let the two come in contact. Also, scampering. Burrito. After the fight's over, I welcomes everyone back. She apologized for not showing up sooner, and that final adjustments for the R3 had taken so long. Riot thinks that because its plus parts got badly damaged from the operation in China. It seems she'll be joining us with the Londo Bell as well. Yay, R3! And soon, Ingram arrives, asking for a report. Ingram's not surprised that it was Irmgard Kazahara, and Rai asks why he took such actions. Ryusei recalls that Irm was a former subordinate of Ingram and asked him why the SRX and the Grunkus were sent out to meet them. And he continues to feign ignorance. Rai wonders why Kusuha claimed to know the pilot of the machine. Ingram says that he's just another test pilot that was scouted amongst civilians, and that while it wouldn't be surprising if the two of them had met before, it's probably just a mix-up on our part. No. Ryusei doesn't buy that, and Rai tells him to just keep his mind on his mission. Ingram agrees with this, and mentions the time has come to start practicing for the ultimate combination of the R series. Brian realizes that has come across some secret truth about the SRS project and therefore fled the military. Brian knows that the R series is pretty dangerous, but that by itself just isn't enough. He knows there's more to be discovered. Meanwhile, Kusa confides in Koji that Bullet's still alive. She tells him about meeting him while on patrol and that he seemingly matched memories of when they were in high school together. Kusa has already tried checking with Ingram about him, but at the time, Ingram just feigned ignorance. Koji's damn sure something fishy's going on and says he will go check himself. But she stops him, saying it's enough that he's just alive. Koji says that if it's the person that he knows, he's surely being used by Ingram for something. We resolve to save him, even though he doesn't remember Kusuha. Elsewhere, Shakti is bringing Misato tea, who's hard at work on operational plans. Ritsuko realizes that Ritsuko observes that Misato seems to be dead-ended. Turns out Ritsuko also has a plan, although one that was proposed by Kaji and Ingram. Flash forward to a meeting. From analyzing the data, there are two ways to beat the Angel. The first is to use the Abas in synchrony to destroy the two separated cores at the same time. To do so, they take the remaining time and have Asuka and Shinji trained to be in perfect synchrony. Bright's a little skeptical, but Hanuro thinks that they're better together than they look. Misato isn't entirely confident herself, but, well, the other way is to just brute force it by using machines strong on both offense and defense. This would mean things like the Gutter Dragon. Let's see if I can recognize it. Yeah, I kind of saw it. The Billabine and the Psybuster. Allegedly. I really don't agree that the Billabine and the Psybuster are powerful machines. I would say stuff like, Dan Kuga, Raideen, Mazinger Z. Mazinger Z's not a beast. He's not the big boy. But still, Dan Kuga? Come on. You chose Billabine over Dan Kuga? I would never do that. But I digress. So, having encountered some follies and trials and tribulations, we're going to, if you observe the Akarasu Wiki, we're going to stay straight on the right side of the page. At the top, starting at stage 29, it says Super Route, followed by Brute Force Route, followed by another choice. We are following that straight timeline because I think it's going to be easier for my supers to knock out the thing as opposed to two Avas in a stage that will last us more dialogue than combat time. Brute Force. And so, next time, we will use our super robots to do what they do best. Punch giant monsters. I thank y'all for watching. And as always, SIEG ZEON.